God uses material things as signs and pledges of his grace, and as a means by which we receive them. More than anywhere else, we see this principle lived out in the life of Jesus himself. Jesus is the outward and visible sign of God's presence in the world, always and everywhere. He was the human face of God, God's self-portrait. Quite simply, like Father, like Son. Jesus seems to be claiming such a special sacramental identity when he says in John's Gospel, "I am the bread of life. Whoever comes to me will never be hungry, and whoever believes in me will never be thirsty." Christians recognize the truth of this sacramental identity as they understand themselves to be receiving the life of Christ in the bread and wine of the Eucharist. Once we've recognized what we call the sacramental principle in the person of Jesus, it becomes easier to see it working out all over the place. The God who we recognize in Jesus is disclosed in and through people, actions and things that carry what we might call added weight. For example, things such as water, fire, bread, wine and oil may all carry added weight in particular situations. Or certain actions may do the same, such as washing, anointing and breaking bread. So the things and the actions are symbols of something greater than themselves. But even more than symbols, they may make God's presence and action so vividly alive and real to those encountering them in particular settings that they become sacramental. They become actual agents of change. The Church of England defines this sacramental principle like this: a sacrament is an outward and visible sign of an inward and spiritual grace. So the outward sign of baptism is water, and the inward grace is union with Christ in his death and resurrection, the forgiveness of sins, and a new birth into God's family, the Church. The outward sign of Holy Communion is bread and wine. The inward grace is the body and blood of Christ. Pushing further still, it's clear that nature can take on a sacramental reality. Earth's crammed with heaven, and every common bush afire with God, wrote Elizabeth Barrett Browning, but only he who sees takes off his shoes. In other words, it's the coming together of the person, action or thing, along with the recognition by the observer or participant, that causes the sacramental electricity to pass between them. That's when an object or action becomes sacramental.